Hello and welcome. I am Raghav, and today we are going to learn something very interesting with Gatling, and that is we are going to learn about API testing in Gatling, and this is going to be very easy and very interesting. And I will start from scratch, and you can follow me on Windows or Mac operating system. You can find all the notes in the description below the video. You can see a timeline as well there, and you can also take the Gatling quiz. I will have the link for the quiz added in the description. So let's get started, and today we are going to learn about API performance testing, and we will see a demo how to do it, and then we will also learn how to check the status and a response, like the response code and anything in the response in the API. So I'm going to start with a very simple example, and in the coming parts we will see some more examples of API testing. So let us see the API testing steps, and I'm not going to cover what is API. I'm assuming that you know about APIs. Just in case you want to learn about APIs in very basic step-by-step way, you can always go to my website, that is automationstepbystep.com. So you can go here, automationstepbystep.com, and here you can go to the API testing section here, and you can see this tutorial, API web services basics, just in case you want to understand and learn the basics of APIs. So I will start with the API testing steps with Gatling. So step one is we have to add a new class. So I will go to my project, the Gatling project that we have been using. On my IntelliJ IDEA, I am here, and I will open the project, and I will go to the source folder, and we have the scale up folder here, and here in this package com.gatling.tests we have all our Gatling simulation scripts. So I'm going to add a new script here. I can also put this in a separate package, so I can do a right click here, and I will say new, and let me just put it in a new package, and I will call this as API. So I can just put all my API tests here, and inside this package now I will just create a new Scala class, and I will call this as API test 1 and hit enter. So we have got our class created, and you can see all this is here, everything is fine. Now before I go to step number 2, let us see the APIs we are going to test here today. So you can take any of your APIs. I'm going to get some sample APIs online. So I'm going to this website reqres.in. It has some good sample APIs for testing, and if you scroll down you can see all these different APIs. So we have some get APIs, then we have post APIs, put, patch, delete. All this you can try from here. So let us see. If I check this list users APIs, this is the endpoint. If I click here, you can see this is the complete URL of the URL of the API, and this is how I get the response. So it gives me a list of users. Let me see this one, which is a single user. This is also a GET request, and this one gives us a details of a single user. So let us try this one. So here we have already added the class. Now we will add the we will extend this class from the Gatling simulation script or Gatling simulation class. So I will say extends here, and I will say simulation, and you can see as I do this I'm getting this auto suggestion. It is coming from io.gatling.co.scenario. So we need to add this, and as I do this we can also see we are getting this import io.gatling.code.scenario.simulation. So we have done this. Now next step is we also have to import the required Gatling libraries, and before I do this let me show you. We need three parts in any Gatling script. We need to create or add three parts. The first one is the protocol, which is in general the HTTP protocol that we can add to all our requests, and then we have the scenario, and then we have the setup. So these are the three parts of any basic Gatling simulation script, and whenever you create any script you can also start with these three basic parts, and I will show you how exactly you can do this. So we have protocol, scenario, and setup. Okay, Now this will be the common protocol that we can add to all the scenarios and all the requests, but just in case you want to have a specific protocol per request, you can add that too, and I will show you this. Then we have our scenario, and then our scenario can have multiple requests, and then finally the setup where we will add the simulation strategy, the users, ramp up, all that we will add in the setup here. So let us start with protocol, and I will say well, and you can give any name here. I will say HTTP protocol, but you can give any name. It should be meaningful for easy understanding. And I will say here HTTP dot base URL, and you can now see as I am typing I am not getting auto suggestion, and that is because we have not imported the required libraries. So we need two libraries to be imported, and that is I will say import io.gatling.core, and I can say dot predef and dot and underscore, so it will also import all the child libraries. And I can now remove this one because I am already importing everything inside core, so I can remove this one and it should work and everything is fine. The next library I should be importing is io.gatling.http, and again I will say dot predef and dot underscore, and that's it. Let me see why I'm getting this error here. So some issue here, let me check. It is saying package name does not correspond to the file path, so I'll just do it like this. Let me see if this works, or let me just give some name here, or I will change the name. I will say API here, and somehow okay, it has created a new package, and here I should be adding it inside my com.gatling.tests, and looks like this is fine. I'll see this later, some issue, but we can check this later. And now if I check here, I will say http.base, and you can see now I'm getting the auto suggestions. So after importing these two libraries, we can get all these auto suggestions. I will say base URL, and I can give the URL here. So if I see the URL of the API that I'm going to use, this is the URL, and here this will be the base URL which will be common to all the requests. So you can see in your API what is the URL, what is the base URL that is common to all the requests. So I'll just use this as the base URL. I can copy this from here and add it here. So this becomes a base URL, and if I want I can put this in a new line for easy readability, and that's it. So we have done this, and you can also add other headers and authorization and everything. So I can say dot headers here, and you will see all the options. So we have got headers, we have accept headers. If we have any authorization, I can add the authorization headers. So all this we can add here. If you see any of your earlier script that was recorded using the Gatling recorder, you will see a lot of other HTTP protocols. So let me just go to any of the earlier scripts so I can show you. So you can see this is how we can add all the different protocols here. But in this case, this is a very simple dummy API. I just need the base URL. It does not have authorization, so I will not add authorization or any other headers. So I can just keep it like this. So we have done this, and we have already imported these two required Gatling libraries. And now step number 4 is we have to create sections for protocol scenario and setup. I have already created protocol. Let us go to the second section, that is scenario. So here for scenario I will say well, and I can give any name. I will say scn equals scenario and give the scenario name. So I will say this is get API request demo. You can give any name here, and then finally I will say I can go to the next line and say .exec, and in brackets I will give the request. Again, I can go to the next line for easy readability, and I will say here HTTP and give the name of the request. So I will say get single user, and then again I will say dot get. I can go to the next line and say dot get, and here we can have, here we can give the HTTP method, so it can be get, post, put, delete, patch, etc. So we are using get here, and we will give the endpoint. So we have already used the base URL here, and whatever endpoint we give here will be appended to the base URL. So I just need to have this. This is our base URL, and for the endpoint I just need to have this endpoint /2. So this will get me user with ID 2, and that's it. I can now say, I can add a pause here if I want to. I can say it should be pause, so it will just pause for the duration I define here. Let us say just pause for 1 second, so it will be a little bit closer to the real world scenario, and this completes our scenario. Now here, if I want, I can also add multiple requests, and I can also add some checks or assertions. So let's just say after running the request, I want to check that the response code is 200. So I will say dot check, and I will say here status dot is, and I will give the status code, that is 200. So I'm expecting a status of 200, and then I can add check for the response as well. So I can again say dot check, and I want to check, let us say I want to check here first name equals Janet. So this is what I want to check. The value first name is Janet, and for that I will first have to create a location, or I have to give the position of this particular value. Now in this case it is a JSON, so I can create a JSON path. If it is an XML, you can create a X path, or you can also create a regular expression. So in this case we will need to create a JSON path. So for that you can search for any JSON path tool online. I'm going to JSON path finder, and there is also a Chrome plugin or a Chrome extension, JSON path finder. If you just go to your Chrome web store, and if you search for JSON path finder, so just search for JSON path finder, and you will get a extension for Chrome, or you can directly just go to this website jsonpathfinder.com, and here you can generate your JSON path. So here is the extension. If you want, you can use this, or just go here. I will copy my JSON, and first I will say beautify, so it will check if it is a valid JSON, and then here you can see it has got the entire JSON in tree structure. I want to check this value, so I will click here, and you can see it has generated the JSON path for us. I can just copy it, and here I can say check, in brackets I will say JSON path, and I should also get auto suggestion. Yes, I am getting, and here I will give the JSON path. I will just copy the value here, and the root should be dollar, so it starts with dollar. This is the root, and now I can just say dot is, or equals, or is should be fine here, and I can give the value. So I want to check that this should be Janet, and that's it. So I have also created the checks or assertions for my response. Now if you want, you can put all this in a single check block. For example, let me show you. I can just say here, I can say check and have these brackets, and then I can say, I can go to the next line, and I will give this. First I will say status is this. I will copy it here, and then I will give a comma, and then I will give the next check, which is for JSON path. So I will just say JSON path is this. So let me cut it from here and add it here. So I have a single check block and it is easy for reading and understanding, and I do not need this. So let me get rid of all this and this as well. So this should be fine, there are no errors. And also if you want, you can do auto indentation. So I will go to the menu code and I will just say auto indent lines. In case you are using a different IDE, you can see what is the option to auto indent your code. So this is all fine. We have created the protocol, we have created the scenario along with all the checks. Now comes the setup part. So I will just say I will use the method setup, and I'm getting auto suggestion here, and here I will call my scenario with the name. So I have given the name SCN here, so I'll just call the scenario here. I will say SCN dot inject, and here I can use the way I want to add the user. So I want to add at once or ramp up, all that I can do. So I will say at once users, and I can give the user count. So I want to test with 10 users, I will say 10 here, and then I will say dot protocol. What is the protocol I want to use? So I will say HTTP protocol that I have defined in the first section. So this is what I want to use. So this is the HTTP protocol. This is the name I have given here. So as I said, this name can be anything. Whatever name you give here, you can define the same name, and you can give the same name here in the setup. So I have given this. If you want, you can put this in a new line just for easy readability, and this is fine. And if you want, you can also say instead of at once, I can say ramp users, and I can say here duration, or during, let us say 5 seconds. So here I am saying ramp to 10 users in 5 seconds. So you can also ramp up like this. And after this, we have done all this, we have created all these sections, we have also added the checks. Let us now run and check the report. So I will go to my engine class and run the engine class here, or I can directly just select engine from here. It is already selected, and I will run. Make sure that you save your project and then run the engine. And okay, yeah, there is some issue here. It has something related to the Scala version. So let me check very quickly. I will go to file and go to project structure, and I will go to global libraries. So here it is using Scala 3.1.0. Let me just try to change and check if this one works fine. Let me check with Scala 2.13. I'm not sure why we are having this package issue here. I will run the engine again and check. So again that issue. Let me just put this class in the main package, and let us see now. I'm still having this issue of package. Let me see. So show context action. Okay, now it is fine. So there was some issue here. Let me now try it again and check. Okay, let me just take this and find it on Google. So this is what you should do if you are getting these issues and you are not able to solve this. I should be having, yeah, so see, we have got a option here. We also have a Stack Overflow article. So I'm not removing all these steps from this video so that you can also see how to troubleshoot. And here, so you can see this is the issue. When you have multiple versions of dependencies of same SDK, it shows this error. I had to face this. So this caused confusion. Remove one of the added library, IntelliJ IDEA, project structure. Okay, so let me try this. I will go to the project structure again. I will go to file and project structure, and let me try to remove this Scala 2.13 and 2.12, and now I only have, okay, let me just use this one and say apply, and this I will remove. It is still being used. Let me first use the SDK3, and then I will again go to file and project structure, and now I will just remove this one. Let me now remove this one and say apply and okay. And if I now run and check, so let us just check. Yeah, looks like this should run now. So that was the issue. And here our API test is at index position 3, so I will say 3 here and hit enter. I can give any name, sample API test demo, and hit enter, and let us see. So this is running fine until now, and yes, this is done. You can see all these matrices here, and this is our report. So I will copy the link to the report, and let us go and check. I will go to a browser and paste the address, and yes, we have got our report, and we have got the sample API test demo here, and here we have got all the report, and everything is fine, everything is in green. That means our checks have worked, and these are the users. So you can see these are ramping up and ramping down like this, and response time, distribution, everything is fine. So all this you can see, different percentiles and everything is here. If I go to the details, so as of now we have a single request, get single user, and these are all the reports and metrics. So everything is running fine, and this is how we can run a very simple get API request. Now this was a very simple request. In the coming session I will show you some more options with API testing, some more requests. We will do a post request, we will do a put, a delete, etc., and we will see some more options on API testing. I hope this was useful. You can also take the Gatling quiz. You will find the link in the description, and I will see you soon. Thank you for watching, and never stop learning.